You know someone who never seems stressed about money. They're not rich, not by any obvious measure. They don't drive an expensive car. They don't talk about their salary. But somehow, no matter what happens, they seem steady, calm. Like money is just not a thing they fight with. And then you know someone else who earns twice as much and is always one bad month away from a crisis. Same city, similar costs, completely different relationship with money. The difference isn't the number on the paycheck. It's the silent rules they follow every single day. Rules most people never learn, never write down, and never talk about at dinner. My name is Susan. I think obsessively about why some people build financial peace almost effortlessly, while others earn more and somehow end up with less. Today, I'm breaking down the 20 silent rules that separate those two groups. Not all of these will feel comfortable. Some will push against habits you've had for years, but that's exactly why they work. Let's go. Rule 1. They never explain their financial decisions to people who don't pay their bills. People who never worry about money have learned something that takes most of us years to figure out. You don't owe anyone a justification for how you spend, save, or choose to live. When you feel pressure to explain why you're not going on the trip, why you bought the used car, why you're skipping the dinner, that pressure costs you money. It makes you spend to avoid awkwardness rather than spending according to your own plan. Stop explaining. Make the decision. Move on. The people who truly support you don't need a financial breakdown, and the people who do need one aren't the audience that matters. Rule 2, they know exactly what they spend every month, and they're not guessing. This isn't about budgets in the rigid, joyless sense. It's about clarity. People who never worry about money are not surprised by their bank balance. They know roughly what their life costs. They know their fixed number, the amount that leaves every month no matter what. And they know their variable range. That knowledge is the foundation of every good financial decision they make. Vague awareness of spending leads to vague results. Precise awareness leads to precision. Take 1 hour this week to add up your last 2 months of actual spending. Not what you think you spent, what you actually spent. That number, however uncomfortable, is your starting point. Rule 3. They treat savings as a bill, not a leftover. Most people save what's left after spending. People who never worry about money spend what's left after saving. It sounds like the same thing. It isn't. When savings is a bill, fixed, automatic, leaving on the day your paycheck arrives, it never gets absorbed by the month. When it's a leftover, the month always wins. There's always something that needed the money more. Decide on a savings percentage. Set the automatic transfer. Treat it with the same non-negotiability as rent. Then live on what remains. The amount is less important than the habit. $20 a month saved automatically beats $200 saved sporadically. Rule 4, they don't keep up with people who are going into debt to look wealthy. The most expensive habit most people have isn't something they buy. It's a comparison they make. Your colleague's vacation, your neighbor's renovation, your friend's new car. None of these tell you anything about their financial health. Many of them are financed. Many of them are producing stress that you don't see in the photo. People who never worry about money have quietly opted out of this comparison game. Not because they don't care about nice things, but because they've learned to distinguish between what they actually want and what they want because someone else has it. Every time you feel the pull to spend based on what someone else is doing, ask one question. Is this mine or is this theirs? If you can't answer clearly, wait. Rule 5. They have one financial number they never go below. Not a budget, not a goal. A floor. People who are financially calm have a number, a minimum account balance. They treat as non-negotiable. It might be $1,000. It might be $5,000. Whatever it is, when they approach it, something in their behavior changes automatically. They spend less. They look for the gap. They protect the floor. This number isn't an emergency fund in the traditional sense. It's a psychological anchor. It tells their nervous system that things are okay. And when the nervous system is calm, financial decisions are better. Choose your number. Make it real. Build to it and then defend it. Rule 6. They don't use credit cards to smooth over bad months. There's a version of credit card use that's disciplined. Spend on the card, pay in full, collect the rewards, repeat. Financially calm people often do this, and there's a version that's a slow emergency. Use the card when the month runs out, pay the minimum, carry the balance, watch the interest accumulate. This version looks like a solution but functions like a leak. The distinction is simple. If the balance is going to zero every month, the card is a tool. If it isn't, the card is a problem. People who never worry about money know which one they're running, and they don't confuse the two. Rule 7. They've audited their subscriptions in the last 6 months, not at sign-up. Recently, actually. Most people are paying for between 4 and 12 services they use rarely or never. The amounts feel small individually. $8, $12, $15. Together, they often add up to more than $100 a month, leaving quietly, invisibly, with no decision attached. People who never worry about money review this regularly, not obsessively, once or twice a year. They look at the list, they ask what they've actually used, and they cancel without guilt what they haven't. Open your bank statement right now and highlight every recurring charge. You'll find at least one that surprises you. Rule 8. They separate needs from needs right now. There's a version of need that's genuine. This has to happen. And there's a version that's manufactured urgency. This feels like it has to happen now. Financially calm people have learned to feel the difference. The refrigerator that stops working is a need. The refrigerator that works fine but isn't the model you want is a want dressed as a need. Before any significant unplanned purchase, they ask, what breaks if I wait 30 days? If the honest answer is nothing, they wait. Time is one of the cheapest financial tools available. Most urgency disappears with it. Rule 9. They don't make financial decisions when they're tired, angry, or hungry. This sounds too simple to include. It isn't. Decision-making quality deteriorates sharply under stress, fatigue, and hunger. The impulse buy, the emotional splurge, the financial agreement you regret by morning, these almost always happen in depleted states. People who never worry about money have, often without naming it as a rule, learned to notice when they're in a bad state for decisions. They sleep on things. They eat before they shop. They don't have hard financial conversations during arguments. The pause isn't hesitation. It's protection. Rule 10. They have a clear answer to, what would I do if I lost my income tomorrow? Not a perfect answer, a clear one. People who are financially calm have thought through the scenario. They know roughly how many months their savings would cover. They know what they'd cut first. They know whether they have skills they could monetize quickly. They've done the mental exercise. This isn't pessimism, it's the opposite. When you've thought through the hard scenario, it stops being terrifying. The fear of the unknown is almost always worse than the fear of a known plan. And a plan, even an imperfect one, creates calm. If you don't have an answer to that question, spend 20 minutes building one. You'll feel different by the end. Rule 11. They've learned to enjoy free things without feeling like they're missing out. Walks, libraries, cooking at home, conversations, free events. People who never worry about money have genuinely found richness in low-cost living. Not because they can't afford otherwise, but because they've stopped equating cost with value. The expensive dinner isn't inherently more enjoyable than the one you made. The resort isn't inherently more relaxing than the campsite. When you stop assuming that more money spent equals more experience had, your entire financial life becomes easier. You spend on what's actually worth it to you, not on what the price tag tells you should be worth it. Rule 12. They don't lend money they can't afford to lose. Not because they're stingy, because they understand reality. Money lent to family and friends rarely returns on schedule. Often, it doesn't return at all. People who are financially calm have a private rule. If I can't mentally categorize this as a gift, I don't lend it. If the money coming back is something I'm counting on, the answer is no. This isn't coldness. It's self-preservation. And it protects relationships too. Money disputes are one of the most reliable ways to damage them. The person who says, "I'm not in a position to lend right now," protects both their finances and their friendship more effectively than the person who lends reluctantly and quietly resents it. Rule 13. They automate the decisions they've already made. There's a difference between a financial decision and a recurring financial decision. The first requires thought. The second, once made thoughtfully, should run without you. Savings transfer? Automated. Retirement contribution? Automated. Bill payments? Automated. Investment contributions? Automated. People who never worry about money have removed themselves as a variable from decisions they've already thought through. This isn't laziness. It's the recognition that willpower is finite and automation isn't. The system runs on the bad months, the same as the good ones. That's the point. Rule 14. They understand that small leaks cause most sinkings. Nobody goes broke from one catastrophic decision. Most financial deterioration is slow, quiet, and incremental. The daily habit, the monthly subscription, the tendency to buy the slightly better version of everything, none of these feel significant. Together, they consume the margin that could have compounded. People who are financially calm pay attention to small numbers, not because they're miserly, but because they understand math. $100 a month redirected is $1,200 a year. Invested, it's meaningfully different over a decade. You don't have to eliminate small pleasures. You have to be honest about which ones are genuine pleasures and which are just habits you've never examined. Rule 15, they've made peace with driving a less impressive car. Transportation is the spending category that most reliably separates people who build wealth from people who perform wealth. A reliable used car, maintained well, gets you to every destination the financed new one does. The difference is what you're not paying, in monthly payments, in higher insurance, in depreciation that begins the moment you leave the lot. People who are financially calm made this choice consciously. They decided that nobody whose opinion matters cares what they drive, that the goal is where they're going financially, not what they're sitting in on the way there. Once that decision is made, it stays made, and hundreds of dollars a month stay invested instead of lent to a lender. Rule 16. They don't open their investment accounts during market drops. This is one of the most powerful rules on this list, and one of the hardest. When markets fall, the emotional impulse is to look, react, do something. People who never worry about money have trained themselves not to. They know their long-term returns are determined almost entirely by what they do during the bad months. And what they do is nothing. They don't sell. They don't move things around. Some of them keep buying because they understand that a down market is a sale on assets they intend to hold for decades. Set a rule. You'll review your investments on a schedule, not on a feeling. Then keep it. Rule 17. They've defined what enough looks like for them, specifically. Without a clear personal definition of enough, the target keeps moving. The salary that would have felt like success 2 years ago now feels inadequate. The house that was the goal now needs the renovation. The vacation that was the dream now needs the upgrade. People who never worry about money have done the uncomfortable work of deciding what their enough actually is. Not society's enough, not their parents' enough, theirs. And when they reach it, they stop straining and start appreciating. Enough doesn't mean stopping. It means knowing where you're going so you can recognize when you've arrived. Rule 18. They have regular conversations about money with someone they trust. Financial isolation is expensive. When money is a topic you avoid, the mistakes you're making go unexamined. The blind spots stay blind. People who are financially calm usually have at least one person, a partner, a friend, a sibling, they talk honestly with about money. Not to brag, not to compare, but to think out loud, to get a reality check, to hear, I do it differently and here's why, and actually consider it. You don't need a financial advisor for this. You need one person who won't judge you and will be honest with you. If you don't have that person, finding one is worth more than any specific financial tactic. Rule 19. They review the previous month before spending in the next one. Not every expense. A 10-minute review. What did last month actually cost? Were there surprises? Was there anything that didn't serve them? What would they do differently? This review, done consistently, is worth more than any budget set in January and ignored by February. It keeps financial life responsive to reality rather than to a plan made under different circumstances. And it catches the gradual drift, the way spending slowly expands, unless something regularly checks it. Put a 15-minute block in your calendar on the first of every month. Call it a financial review. Do it every month without exception. Rule 20. They play long games and ignore short-term noise. This is the rule all the others build toward. People who never worry about money are not trying to win this month. They're building something that works over years and decades. They're not anxious about what the market did today because they're not trying to win today. They're not envious of someone else's new car because they're not playing the same game. The long game requires patience. It requires doing boring things consistently. It requires saying no to things that feel good now in favor of things that will matter later. It's not exciting. But it is the only game where the outcome is in your control. Play it long enough, and one day you'll realize you're one of those people who never seems stressed about money. Not because something lucky happened, but because of the rules you followed quietly, consistently, for a long time. Here's the honest truth. Most people will read these rules, feel good about them, and change nothing. They'll go back to the same patterns next week. Don't be that person. Pick 3 rules from this list, just 3. Implement them this week. Master them this month. Then add 3 more. Financial peace isn't built by doing everything perfectly from the start. It's built by doing a few things consistently over time until they become who you are. Less noise, less drift, less spending to manage other people's impressions, more clarity, more intention, more of what actually matters to you. The rules are available to anyone willing to follow them, quietly, patiently, and without needing anyone else to notice. Start today. Your future self will thank you. If this helped you think about money differently, subscribe.